The rain came down hard that night, not gentle, not forgiving, but heavy, sharp, like the city itself was angry. Streetlights flickered over a nearly empty intersection as cars rushed past, tires hissing against wet asphalt. Somewhere in the distance, a siren cried, then disappeared again. It should have been just another ordinary night, but it wasn't. A little girl stood under the awning of a closed grocery store, clutching her father's jacket with both hands. Her shoes were soaked, her fingers were shaking, and her voice, soft, innocent, barely louder than the rain, cut through everything. "Daddy, please don't let her die." He hadn't even seen her fall at first. One moment he was counting. Change in his pocket, thinking about bills, about rent, about whether the power would stay on this month. The next, a scream, sharp, terrifying, human. A woman lay sprawled on the pavement near the crosswalk. Her body twisted unnaturally. A bicycle skidded across the road, spinning helplessly before crashing into a curb. Blood mixed with rainwater, spreading in thin red lines that vanished almost as soon as they appeared. People slowed their cars. Some rolled down windows. Others pulled out phones. No one stepped forward. Except him. He dropped everything, the coins clattering across the sidewalk, and ran, rain soaked through his shirt as he knelt beside the woman. Her eyes fluttered, unfocused. Her breathing came in short, broken gasps. A car horn blared somewhere behind him. Someone shouted, "Don't touch her!" Another voice yelled, "Call 911!" His hands hovered for half a second, then instinct took over. He pressed his jacket against the wound, applying pressure the way his body remembered, even though his mind tried to forget. His hands moved with calm precision that didn't match his worn clothes or tired eyes. "Stay with me," he whispered. "You hear me? Stay right here." Behind him, his daughter stood frozen, watching her father become someone she'd never seen before. A stranger lifted a phone and started recording. The camera caught everything. The rain, the blood, the man on his knees, the child crying behind him. And then, the moment that would change everything. The woman grabbed his wrist with surprising strength and whispered something that made his face go pale. 3 words. The crowd leaned in. The phone kept recording. And right there, in the middle of the street, under broken streetlights, with rain washing away the past, a quiet man's life began to unravel in front of the entire world. Because this wasn't just an accident, and he wasn't just a bystander. What no one knew yet was that this moment would expose a truth he had spent years trying to bury, and once the video went viral, nothing would ever be the same again. He thought saving her life would be the hardest part, but what came next would test everything. He believed about justice, sacrifice, and legacy. His name was Marcus Hill, but around the neighborhood, folks just called him Marcus wasn't supposed to be anybody special. He was the kind of man people walked past every day without really seeing. Early 40s, tall but slouched, like life had been sitting on his shoulders too long, work boots scuffed. Jacket always 1 season too old. The kind of guy who looked tired even when he smiled. By day, Marcus worked overnight security at a warehouse. On the edge of the city, long shifts, bad coffee, even worse pay. The kind of job where you memorize the hum of fluorescent lights and learn how to stay awake when your body is begging you to quit. By night? Well, by night he was just dad. Everything he did revolved around his daughter, Layla. Layla was 9. All big eyes and messy braids, with a voice that could flip from sass to sweetness in half a second. She talked too much when she was nervous and too little when she was scared. She had this habit of tugging on Marcus's sleeve when she didn't feel safe, like if she let go, the world might take him too. Her mom had passed 3 years earlier. Cancer. Fast and unfair. 1 minute they were making plans. The next minute Marcus was standing in a hospital hallway holding a doctor's hand while Layla cried into his leg. Since then, it had just been the two of them. No backup plan, no safety net, just survival. Money was always tight. Rent came first, food second. Everything else waited, including Marcus. His dreams, his sleep, his past. Especially his past. There was one thing Marcus never talked about. A silver medallion he wore under his shirt, always tucked close to his chest. Layla had asked about it once. "Daddy, why you always hide that necklace?" He'd smiled, brushed her hair back and said, "It's just something from an old job, baby. Nothing important." That was a lie. That medallion wasn't jewelry. It was a reminder of a life Marcus walked away from. A uniform he folded up and never put back on. A moment when everything went wrong, and he decided disappearing was easier than explaining. Layla had no idea. To her, Marcus was just the dad who burned pancakes on Sundays, who checked homework twice, who counted change at the bodega like it mattered because it did. But there were cracks. Sometimes. When sirens screamed past too close, Marcus's jaw would tighten. Sometimes his eyes would go distant, like he was seeing something no one else could. And sometimes, late at night, he'd sit at the kitchen table staring at that medallion, like it was judging him. Layla noticed. Kids always do. That night, standing under the grocery store awning, she felt it again. That shift. The one where her dad stopped being tired Marcus and turned into something sharper, faster, scarier, but safer. She didn't know why her dad's hands moved like that. She didn't know why he stayed so calm when everyone else froze. She didn't know why strangers were suddenly whispering his name, but she felt it. Something was waking up inside him, and whatever it was, it wasn't done yet, because the man Marcus used to be was about to come knocking, Layla thought. She was watching her dad save a stranger. She didn't know she was watching him step back into a life that would put them both in danger. The rain didn't slow down. If anything, it came harder, slamming the street like it had something to prove. Marcus barely noticed. His knees hit the pavement as he leaned over the woman. Jacket already soaked through, rain dripping down his face and into his eyes. Her skin was cold. Too cold. Blood ran between his fingers, slick and dark. "Ma'am, stay with me," he said, voice low, steady. "Don't check out on me now." Her chest barely moved. Behind him, chaos cracked open. A car door slammed. Somebody yelled, "Man, don't touch her," another voice shouted. "I'm calling 911. And of course, there was always that one person, phone already up, camera rolling. Layla's voice trembled behind him. "Daddy, I'm scared." He didn't turn around. "I know, baby," he said. "Stay right there. Don't move." His hands moved like muscle memory had taken the wheel. Pressure, check airway. Count breaths, ignore the blood. Ignore the noise. Ignore the fact that half the street was staring at him like he'd lost his mind. A car honked long and angry. Marcus snapped his head up. "Back up!" he barked. "Give her space!" People froze. Something in his voice, sharp, commanding, made them listen. Even the guy filming took a step back. The woman coughed suddenly, choking on rain and pain. Her eyes fluttered open, wild and confused. "Easy," Marcus said. "You got clipped by a car. You're hurt, but you're still here. You hear me?" She tried to speak. Couldn't. Her hand shot up and grabbed his wrist. Strong grip. Desperate. She leaned close and whispered, breath rattling, "He didn't stop." "He never stops." Marcus felt a chill crawl up his spine. "What?" he asked. Her eyes rolled back. No. Stay with me," Marcus said, adjusting his grip, pushing harder against the wound. His jacket was useless now, soaked red. "Come on, don't you do that!" Sirens finally screamed closer. Red and blue lights bounced off wet buildings. An ambulance skidded to a stop. EMTs jumped out, moving fast. "Step back, sir," one of them shouted. Marcus hesitated, just half a second too long, and that's when someone yelled it. "Yo. Is that a cop?" the crowd murmured. The camera zoomed in. Marcus didn't realize his medallion had slipped. Out from under his shirt, silver, stamped, unmistakable. A badge variant most people never recognized, unless they'd seen one before. The EMT noticed too. His eyes flicked to the medallion, then to Marcus's hands. "You trained?" the EMT asked. Marcus swallowed. "A long time ago." The EMT nodded. "You did good, real good." They lifted the woman onto the stretcher. One of them slapped Marcus lightly on the shoulder. "You probably saved her life." The siren doors slammed shut. And just like that, they were gone. The street fell silent. Too silent. Phones stayed up. Whispers turned louder. "That was him, right?" Man moved like a pro. Why? He got that badge? Why he hiding it? Layla ran to Marcus and wrapped her arms around him. You okay, Daddy? She asked. He looked down at her, rain dripping off his chin, hands shaking now that it was over. I'm good, baby, he said. You did good too, but his eyes drifted back to the street, to the phones, to the camera still pointed right at him. He knew that look. He'd seen it before. Curiosity turning into suspicion. And somewhere, deep in his gut, Marcus felt it, that old feeling he thought he'd buried. This wasn't staying on the street. By morning, that video would be everywhere? And the past he ran from? Yeah, it just found him. Marcus thought the danger ended when the ambulance drove away. He didn't know the real damage would start once the video hit the internet. By morning, the city already knew his face. Marcus didn't even see it coming. He was in the kitchen, half asleep, pouring cereal into a cracked bowl while Layla sat at the table swinging her legs, humming like nothing in the world had changed. His phone buzzed, then buzzed again, and again. Marcus frowned, wiped his hands on his jeans, and picked it up. 20-3 missed calls. Dozens of notifications. A text from a number he didn't recognize popped up first. Bro, you going viral. His stomach dropped. He opened the link. There he was, frozen on the screen, kneeling in the rain, blood on his hands, jacket pressed against the woman's body. Layla's small voice crying in the background. His medallion shining clear as day. The caption read, Mystery Man plays hero, but why was he hiding this? The comments were already wild. Why he got a badge but acting broke? Fake. Hero energy. Probably staged for clout. Another attention seeker. Why the kid there? That's reckless. Marcus locked his phone. Layla looked up. Daddy, what's wrong? He forced a smile. Nothin', baby. Eat your cereal. But his hands were shaking. By noon, the story had jumped platforms. Clips chopped up. Context stripped away. His calm voice turned into aggressive. His hesitation turned into suspicious. The medallion became the headline. Who is he, really? By evening, it got worse. His supervisor from the warehouse called. Marcus? HR saw the video, the man said, awkward and stiff. We're gonna need you to take a few days off, just until this dies down. Marcus laughed, sharp, bitter. Man, I saved a life. I know. I know, the supervisor said. But the internet don't care about that. Click. That night, Marcus sat on the couch, lights off, scrolling when he shouldn't have, reaction videos, think pieces. Strangers breaking down his body language like they knew him. Some calling him a hero. Others calling him a fraud. One comment. Hit harder than the rest. If he was really about saving lives, why'd he quit? Marcus shut his eyes. Layla came out of her room, holding her favorite blanket. People at school were talking, she said quietly. They said you was famous? He opened his arms and she climbed into his lap. Daddy, she whispered. Did you do something bad? His chest tightened. No, he said, voice thick. I did what I thought was right. She nodded slowly, then asked the question he'd been dreading. Then why everybody mad? He didn't have an answer. That night, Marcus didn't sleep. He sat at the kitchen table, medallion in his hand, staring at it like it was burning him. He had walked away for a reason. He stayed quiet for a reason. Because telling the truth meant reopening wounds, not just his but other people's too, outside. A car slowed. Someone shouted his name. Marcus looked out the window and saw a phone pointed straight at his apartment. The past wasn't knocking anymore. It had moved in. Marcus thought the internet was judging him for what he did that night. But the real storm was coming when the truth behind that medallion finally surfaced. Just when the dust seemed to settle, a hidden truth emerged that nobody expected. The father, already battered by public scrutiny, discovered that the incident that shook his life was only the tip of the iceberg. A mysterious figure, an influential journalist with a reputation for uncovering corruption, arrived at his doorstep. She revealed a series of events that connected his past sacrifices to a moment of quiet heroism he had never shared publicly. Suddenly, the father's actions during the incident weren't reckless, they were life-saving. Brilliant and courageous. The media, once critical, now scrambled to reframe the story. Clips went viral again, but this time highlighting his bravery and integrity. Friends and strangers alike were stunned, rewatching the event and seeing his heroism in a completely new light. Meanwhile, his child, the heart of the story, witnessed this transformation firsthand. Tears, laughter, and quiet pride filled the small moments, showing the depth of their bond. The child realized that their parents' courage had always been there, quietly shaping the world around them, yet the revelation wasn't just about redemption. It came with new stakes, secrets, allies, and hidden enemies surfaced, hinting at challenges that could have long-lasting consequences. The father now faced a choice: cling to safety or step fully into the hero he had quietly always been. And just when you think you've seen the full story, the next twist will challenge everything you thought you knew about courage, family, and fate. Don't blink. You won't want to miss what happens next. Morning light peeked through the blinds, hitting the room like it was trying to say, "Yo, time to move on." For the first time in weeks, the dad was just chillin', sipping his coffee, thinking about all the chaos that went down. But peace don't mean easy. It was that weird calm after a hurricane kind of vibe. He looked over at his kid, passed out on the couch, book open, doodles scattered everywhere. Man, that innocent little face reminded him why he did all this mess in the first place. Every single choice mattered 'cause someone was watching and learning. From him, his tiny human was counting on him. The news had blown up overnight. Social media and headlines were shouting his name, calling him brave, saying he stepped up when nobody else would. But he didn't care about the fame. Nah, it was just proof that doing the right thing even when no one sees it hits different. The world can clown you, ignore you, or twist your story, but the truth, that don't fade? He grabbed the watch. Yeah, that same beat-up watch that had been with him through all the drama. Or maybe it was that letter or the ring, whatever symbol you want to roll with. Holding it, he remembered the grind, the fights, the sleepless nights. It wasn't for clout, it was for family, for justice, and for those tiny moments nobody films. His phone buzzed. It was someone who once doubted him. Apologies dropped, straight up real. He smirked. Redemption ain't just for you, it ripples. Man, he started macking breakfast, thinking about everything, the drama, the fallout, the secrets. All that fire had burned away fear, ego, and doubt. Looking in the mirror, he saw a man who wasn't perfect, hell, no, but real, raw, and proud as hell. Outside, the city was waking up. The honks, chatter, distant music all sounded like life saying, "Keep moving," and he felt ready. He could face it. They could face it together, a knock at the door. A neighbor, a homie, someone with a little favor or a bit of drama. But he handled it smooth, calm, collected, like a guy who survived hell and came out clean. He sat with his kid later, sharing stories, lessons about bravery, loyalty, and how to keep your head up. They laughed, teased each other, and just vibed in silence. No cameras, no headlines, just real talk, real feels. Later, he placed that symbolic item on the shelf. Not to flex, just to remind him what he's made of. The real strength, not in showing it off. Nah, it's in living it every day. The media hype died down, but respect, that was real now. Nod from strangers, silent thumbs up from the folks who doubted him, and the pure pride in his kid's eyes. Life would still throw curveballs, no doubt. But now he's ready. Past mistakes, lessons, misunderstandings, growth. He's walking forward with nothing holding him back, grounded in love, loyalty, and truth. Think it's over? Nah, life's got a funny way of sneaking back in. Next test? It might hit harder than this one. Stick around, you won't see it coming. If this story hit you in the feels, don't sleep on it. Smash that subscribe, hit like, share with your crew. Real stories like this, they gotta be told. Sunlight hit the city like it was rolling out a welcome mat. The streets buzzing, people hustling, life moving on, but inside that apartment, it was quiet, peaceful. For the first time in forever, our dad leaned back on the couch, legs kicked up, a messy mug of coffee in hand. Just breathing. The kid ran around like a mini tornado, laugh echoing off the walls. He watched him, heart full, thinking, damn, this is what victory actually feels like. Not money, not fame, not clout, but moments like this. Real, raw, untouchable. He glanced at that symbolic item again, the watch, the ring, the letter, whatever reminder you want to vibe with. It sat there, silent, but screaming all the battles they'd fought. Every sleepless night, every fear, every stupid-ass choice, it all led here. And yeah, it was worth it. Outside, the city carried on. Some people would never know the shit he went through. Some would never respect it. But that didn't matter. The people who counted? Right here, right now. And that feeling? Priceless. Later. He tucked the kid in, whispered some bedtime stuff about bravery, honesty, and sticking to your gut. The kid grinned, half asleep, eyes sparkly, saying, "You're the best, Dad." And damn straight, he felt it. Then he sat back, just watching the skyline, thinking about everything. The chaos, the fights, the losses, the wins. Life was messy, unpredictable, sometimes cruel, but it also gave you beauty in the quiet moments. If you paid attention, he reached for the phone, a little nudge of temptation. Social media? News? Nah, he put it down. Not today. Today, he just sat with the world he built. Family, love, hard-earned peace. A soft laugh from the kitchen made him turn. The kid was mixing breakfast like a little chef, spilling a bit, making a mess. He shook his head, smiled, and whispered, "Yep, this is everything." The city roared in the background, cars honking, dogs barking, people hustling. And he didn't need to be part of that chaos. He had his chaos right here, and it was better, realer, full of heart, full of truth. Full of life. One choice, one night, one fight could have ruined everything. Instead, it built a life. What are you waiting for? Life don't pause, and neither do the chances to be brave, to love,